Speaking of Seattle, they cut Tyler Lockett. They traded Geno Smith. And now they traded the man, the myth, the legend, DK Metcalf. He has been sent to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a second-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, were a playoff-bound team last year. The Pittsburgh Steelers had one of the worst offenses in a recent memory. Their offense just wasn't very good. Let's just be honest. It was throw it deep and run the ball. That's all they could do. There's no nickel and diamond. There was no little bit of this. There was no a little bit of that. But for a second-round pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers did pick up DK Metcalf, and they signed him to a new year to a new deal, 5-year, $150 million deal. With this trade by the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, are the Pittsburgh Steelers now playoff bound? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers now competing for the NFC North, for the AFC North title? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers now competing for the Super Bowl with the addition of DK Metcalf? In his 6 years in the NFL career, DK Metcalf does not have a single season underneath 900 yards. 2024 was, stat-wise, his worst of his career. He only had 5 touchdowns and 992 yards. With these stats, many people do not put DK Metcalf as a top 10 receiver. 6 years, over 900-plus yards. I mean, he doesn't have double-digit touchdowns year after year, but not a top 10 receiver by many people, a stretch of the imagination. So when we look at this trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers for DK Metcalf, does this make them the favorites in the North? Does this make them a Super Bowl-bound team? Guys, the only thing this does, it puts a bigger, or it closes the windows on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's just be honest. George Pickens is on his way out. He is on the last year of his deal. He's a diva. He's an egomaniac. He's throwing stupid antics on the field week after week, play after play, year after year. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a quarterback. Justin Fields just signed a 2-year, $40 million deal with the New York Jets. Russell Wilson is a free agent. Yes, it is nice to have a receiver like DK Metcalf. Yes, it is nice to have a receiver like George Pickens. They're the same guy. Run straight, far, and will throw you the ball. It is nice to re-sign Jalen Johnson. Awesome. What about Najee Harris? You still don't have a quarterback. That's the biggest issue in Pittsburgh. So they will never be considered in my book right now AFC North champions or pending or competing for the AFC North title as of right now just by signing DK Metcalf. It does not move the needle for me right now. Now, if they bring in a quarterback that's young, that's hungry, that could potentially win them right now, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe just maybe somebody like Trey Lance, maybe just maybe they make a play for Brock Purdy. Maybe, just maybe, there's other people out there, Carson Wentz from the Kansas City Chiefs, that could come out there and really do something with this George Pickens, DK Metcalf. They have a pretty good tight end. His name's slipping my mind right now. The defense is great. Jalen Johnson is back. But guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not favorites in the AFC North at all. They're not. I've been burned by this bridge so many times. I've been burned by this hype around the Pittsburgh Steelers so many times, and I'm done. I'm over it. I'm breaking up with them. I had them as Super Bowl favorites last season. I had them playing the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl last season. What did they do? They shit the bed in the first round. The Buffalo. Who they play? I don't even remember who they played. Was it the Pittsburgh Steelers? No, it wasn't the Steelers. Who was it? Can't even remember. Had to been the Ravens, right? It doesn't matter. Guys, Steelers made a great trade by getting DK. Awesome. Made some noise. Got the fan base happy. But the truth is, you don't have a quarterback. Your running backs needs an extra guy. What are you doing with George Pickens? Is Mike Tomlin going to finally be happy more than winning nine games? I'm just saying. Something needs to happen. But it doesn't move the needle. What do you guys think? Old Man River I think he's going to clash with George Pickens. Old Man River, you might be onto something here. Because George Pickens is in his final year of his contract. George Pickens is going to want the ball. George Pickens is going to want to put up those numbers. George Pickens is going to want that contract, that 5-year, $150 million deal. He saw that. He wants it. DK Metcalf wants the ball. DK Metcalf wants to show out. DK Metcalf wants to do a lot of bit of this and a lot of bit of that. But truth be told, I think you're right. Winning cures all. We're going to cover this in Factor Crap here in about 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes or so, about George Pickens, DK Metcalf going head to head. But I think you're right. I think you're on to something, baby. And Alpha Rob, is Russ still their quarterback? As of right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have no quarterback. As of right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have no quarterback. Justin Fields just signed with the New York Football Jets. I believe it was a 2-year, $40 million deal. I'm pulling up the roster here real quick here. Obviously, Russell Wilson is a free agent. He has not signed yet. So they do have Kyle Allen on the roster and Skylar Thompson. I like my man Skylar Thompson from the Kansas State University, right? They signed him to a practice squad schedule. But Kyle Allen from the University of Houston, 29 years old, 6th season in the NFL. Like, what? How many teams has this guy been on? He's been on Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been on the Buffalo Bills, the Houston Texans, the Washington Commanders, and the Carolina Panthers. 5 teams in 6 years. That's tough, baby. The Pittsburgh Steelers better be out there going out there for Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, somebody. Make a trade with the Cowboys to get Dak Prescott. I don't know. Something. Something. James Frank says, so who is throwing the ball to him? Fields? Nope. Fields is in New York. And they haven't re-signed Wilson. Does that mean they will re-sign Wilson? Listen, at this point, the Pittsburgh Steelers have tried to open up the Super Bowl window, right? Because if you think about it right now, their defense is pretty good. Defense is a top 10 defense in the NFL. They had some issues to end the season last year. Some baby mama drama, sleeping with each other, like whatever. They had some type of issues there. Hopefully that is corrected. Getting DK Metcalf and George Pickens is, like, on paper seems good, but they are the same receiver at the end of the day. Let's just be honest about it. Their tight end, is it Fizzlebaum? Is that how you say his name? Fertaloom. Pat, right? They still have Van Jefferson, right? They have a decent offense, paper-wise. So, I mean, if you look at their quarterback issues, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Russ at the end of the day? Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins? Would you rather have potentially go out there and make a trade for another quarterback? You do have a 21st pick in this year's draft, right? You still got that. Maybe you can make a trade for some other quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is a free agent still, right? There are options out there, but what option is going to go out there and basically take mediocre money? I think that's what it comes down to. Alpha Rob says that's good for both Russ and DK because all Russ can do is throw the ball deep. Exactly. That's good for George Pickens too. My man Casey Morgan's in the chat.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Casey's also the pigskin pun. Thank you, Casey, for all your support. He says, is what I'm wondering, do they draft a quarterback? With the 21st overall pick, I don't know what their second or third or fourth round picks look like. With the 21st pick, you are not going to get a Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders in that particular pick. If you draft a quarterback, it's probably going to be Jackson Dart in that particular realm. Is he a late first round pick? Potentially. But Steelers have not had very good success of drafting late first round quarterbacks. AKA Kenny Pickett. If I am the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and I think there is a quarterback out there in this year's draft that could potentially help me at 21st. Go out and get him, right? But you still need to bring in a veteran to teach him. That is actually going to teach him and actually mentor him. Aaron Rodgers in New York actually seemed to be helping Zach Wilson just a little bit, right? We saw a lot of improvement in Zach Wilson's game when Aaron Rodgers was there. Maybe Aaron Rodgers, you bring Aaron Rodgers in, draft Jackson Dart. Kirk Cousins would be a reach, but man, it is tough. Old Man River.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
He's also a pigskin pun. He says there's truth to that statement. What truth is to that statement? Josh Olsen, Mr. Top Fan, he's Top Fan himself, I should say, said, I said it on here about 6 weeks ago that Sam Darnold was going to maybe sign with the Seahawks. I mean, a blind dog's white twice a day, right? James Frank says, please, 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 Pittsburgh, sign Trey Lance. James Frank, you don't want that evil, baby. You don't want a nasty, hungry Trey Lance with a good defense and a nice running game and a deep ball threat. Don't be signing something up for it. Then I was going to say, so told you so later. There's a reason why Trey Lance they 49ers traded up to draft Trey Lance. There's also a reason why Trey Lance has not started a game in the NFL for the last 3 seasons. But hey, it is what it is. Alpha Rob says, Buck, you know Tomlin is good with his 9 to 10 wins a season, baby. You are right. He's happy being mediocre. However, this is the first time in recent memory that I've seen that the Pittsburgh Steelers actually gone out there and made some noise during this free agency period. So maybe Mike Tomlin's turned over a new leaf. Maybe Mike Tomlin understands, like, hey, it's time to start branching out. We've been average for so long. Maybe we need to go out there and start doing a little bit of this, right? Doing a little bit of this. Tomlin is done. Tomlin's not done. Tomlin just needs a new change of scenery. Tomlin's going to come to Kansas City Chiefs once Andy Reid retires next season. It's going to be a game on, baby. James Frank says Casey Morgan, Big Ben might still have a few throws in left his arm. James, I heard Big Ben say that. I think it was on Twitter, right? He said with like DK and George Pickens and that Dick and that defense, he might come back. Big Ben just has a little bit of this left in his arm. That's all he has. Casey says B needs stay away. Was never a fan of him. I'm not for sure what you're trying to say there, Casey. Big Ben, maybe Big Ben. James Frank says, I thought Jefferson was a free agent. James, you might be on to something. I don't know. I just looked at the roster and Van Jefferson is still on there. So you are probably correct. I don't know the Pittsburgh Steelers free agency. There's a lot of wide receiver free agents right now. So definitely Van Jefferson is probably a free agent.